Have you ever experienced the desperate feeling of looking for your cat all over the house? And nothing, walking around shaking the food bowl, hoping they'll suddenly show up out of nowhere? Well, many pet owners have been through that. And today, I'm going to reveal 7 reasons why cats run away from home, and trust me, some of them will really surprise you. So make yourself comfortable, because this video is going to open your eyes to feline behavior like never before. And hey, if you love your kitty and want to better understand what's going on inside that little head, go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell, because here we take animal well-being seriously with lots of love and honesty. Oh, and stick around until the end, because the last reason is one of the most overlooked, and the most dangerous too. And of course, drop a comment below if any of these reasons have ever happened with your cat or someone you know. Number 1, natural curiosity and the desire to explore the environment. Let's get into it. First of all, a cat is not a dog. Seems obvious, right? But the way they interact with their environment is completely different. Yes, they are territorial, but at the same time, they're incredibly curious and independent, and that's where the problem starts. When something changes in their routine, they simply decide to explore, and sometimes exploring means slipping out through that little crack in the window you thought was secure. Cats are driven by sensory stimuli. A new smell coming from outside, the sound of a bird, or even just the sight of a leaf moving in the wind can be enough to trigger their exploratory instinct. It's in their nature to seek out new territory, even if they already have a safe and loving home. It's almost as if the outside world is calling them on a secret mission. They don't see an open window the same way we do. They see an opportunity, an invitation to adventure. And as risky as it may seem to us, to them, it's instinct. They don't plan to run away, they just go. Especially if you live in a house with a yard or an apartment with unprotected windows, all of that increases the risk. That's why it's so important to understand that even with all the care you provide indoors, if there's no prevention or vigilance, your cat's curiosity can lead them on an unauthorized little journey. What's interesting is that many cat owners only notice this behavior after their cat has already tried to escape once or twice. You'll see them watching the doors, hiding near exits, or getting restless when someone's about to leave the house. These are subtle signs that they're seeking stimulation, or maybe even freedom. That's why observing and truly knowing your cat's behavior is essential to preventing this kind of escape. Number 2, stress caused by changes in the environment. Another major factor is the noise and stress inside the home. Rearranging furniture, unfamiliar visitors, renovations, or even constant arguments in the household. Your cat feels all of it. And contrary to what many people think, they won't just hide. They may actually choose to run away to a place where they feel safer. You know when your cat disappears right after a birthday party? That's no coincidence. Cats are extremely sensitive to change. They become attached to smells, sounds, and routine. Any sudden shift can be interpreted as a threat. Even something as simple as moving a piece of furniture can disorient them. When guests come over, for example, your cat picks up on new scents, unfamiliar voices, and unusual activity. And if these changes happen frequently, the stress can build up to a point they can no longer handle. In addition, loud noises, like construction, loud music, shouting, or even the constant sound of household appliances like vacuums and blenders, are extremely invasive for a cat's ears, which are far more sensitive than ours. What seems like mild background noise to us can feel like an emergency siren to them. In that situation, escaping becomes a natural reaction to fear and discomfort. Another important point is that cats don't do well in emotionally tense environments. Frequent arguments, family tension, or even periods of mourning or sadness can directly impact your cat's behavior. They absorb emotional energy with remarkable sensitivity. If the home stops being a place of safety and starts feeling like a source of stress, they'll search for peace somewhere else, even if it's the neighbor's rooftop. So, when you're Cat disappears right after a big change or a noisy event. Don't brush it off. They didn't vanish by accident. They were trying to protect their own emotional well-being. Number 3, reproductive and territorial instinct. Even in neutered cats, now, pay attention. A lot of people think that neutered cats don't run away. Wrong, neutering reduces, but doesn't completely eliminate the instinct to roam. Cats can smell other cats from miles away, especially if there's a female in heat nearby. And that, my friend, is a call from nature that very few can resist. Even neutered, many cats still maintain territorial or hunting behaviors. So if there's an open door or a tree near the fence, well, that's it. Even after neutering, hormones can continue circulating in the cat's body for some time, and in some cases, they may still show typical behaviors of an intact animal for weeks or even months. Also, the instinct isn't just hormonal, but also behavioral and reinforced by the environment. Cats that had access to the outdoors before neutering, for example, tend to keep the habit of going out even after the procedure. And there's more. Territory is a serious matter for a cat. They recognize and mark their spaces, and if they sense another cat nearby, either by smell or by vocalizations, they might feel called to defend or expand their territory. This applies even indoors when they notice cats outside the window or hear sounds from the street. The feeling that they need to handle something out there becomes irresistible. Another important point is that hunting cats, even if well-fed, don't hunt because they're hungry, but because of instinct. The movement of an insect, the smell of a mouse, or simply seeing a bird flying can trigger this behavior. And all of that is outside, on the other side of the door. If your cat still has easy access to the street or yard, and those stimuli are present, they might try to escape and often come back only after satisfying that impulse. So don't be fooled. Neutering is very important, but it's not an absolute shield against escapes. The instinct is stronger than it seems. Number 4, lack of stimuli and environmental enrichment. But wait, there's more. The issue of lacking environmental enrichment inside the house is also a big culprit. A bored cat looks for adventure, and unfortunately, that adventure is right there just outside the window. That's why toys, scratching posts, shelves, boxes, and high places are so important. If your cat doesn't have stimulation inside the house, they will look for it outside, plain and simple. They're not running away because they don't like you. They're running away from boredom. Cats are hunters by nature, and even the most domesticated ones keep that instinct alive. Inside the house, they need challenges that stimulate their mind and body. Without this, they can become frustrated, anxious, and even depressed. Running away can be a response to this lack of daily challenges. Also, a monotonous routine with no variety or playtime makes the environment seem boring and dull for a cat who lives in a world full of smells, sights, and tactile stimuli. This is a serious problem. Imagine being stuck in a place where nothing changes, with no new things. The urge to explore the unknown becomes irresistible. That's why investing in environmental enrichment isn't just a luxury or whim, it's a necessity for your cat's mental and physical health. Scratching posts help relieve stress and keep claws healthy. Shelves and boxes create spaces for climbing and hiding, simulating a natural environment. Interactive toys keep their mind active and help burn energy. And the best part, an entertained and happy cat has fewer reasons to want to escape through that window or door. They feel safe, stimulated, and most importantly, loved. Number 5, emotional changes or loss of bond with the owner. And there's a reason that's even more emotional: changes in routine or emotional abandonment. Cats feel when you're not as present anymore, when the attention decreases, when the environment changes abruptly. They are sensitive to change, even though they show independence. There have been cats that ran away after a baby was born or another pet arrived. And this is real because they need to feel part of the territory, not disposable. For cats, the bond with their owner is much deeper than it seems. They are social animals, even if they don't always show it explicitly. When there's a change, In the household dynamics, like the arrival of a baby, introducing a new animal, or even changes in people's schedules, the cat may feel displaced, insecure, or even rejected. Also, emotional distancing from the owner, whether due to work, personal problems, or other priorities, can make the cat feel neglected. Even if it seems like they ignore us, they notice the changes and may react by running away, looking for a place where they feel more valued and at ease. The feeling of abandonment can cause anxiety, stress, and even depression in cats, leading them to try to find a new family or environment where they feel more welcomed. That's why it's essential to maintain a routine of affection, attention, and stimulation, especially during times of change in the household. Remember, cats don't run away out of spite or bad behavior. They run away out of instinct for survival and emotional need. Understanding this is the first step to preventing your cat from feeling lost and deciding to leave in search of something they think they lost. Number 6. Escape caused by fear or sudden scares. And of course, fear couldn't be left out as a trigger. Fireworks, thunder, vacuum cleaners, even a loud noise like a falling pan can activate a cat's escape mode. And if they have an escape route, they'll use it. Some hide inside the house, but if there's an open window, they'll simply disappear. And worst of all, with fear, they can end up getting lost because they run off in panic without planning. It's the survival instinct speaking loudest. Cats have very sharp senses and are extremely sensitive to sudden auditory and visual stimuli. An unexpected noise can trigger an immediate, instinctive reaction to flee, even if the place there is safe. This happens because, in the wild, running away quickly from danger is the best way to survive. Also, in intense fear situations, a cat can panic and completely lose its sense of space and direction. That's why they can end up wandering far from their known territory, which unfortunately increases the chances of getting lost or hurt. It's important for owners to know that in these situations, the best thing to do is try to create a safe and calm environment, providing protected hiding spots inside the house and avoiding leaving windows or doors open without supervision, especially on noisy days like parties or storms. Remember, fear is a natural response, but it can be managed with patience, care, and preparation. The safer the cat feels inside the house, the less likely it will want to run away in scary situations. Number 7. Hostile environment or neglect, leading to permanent abandonment. And now we've reached the one I promised at the beginning, the most overlooked and, unfortunately, the most dangerous reason of all, disguised abandonment. Many times the cat doesn't run away, they are encouraged, even if unconsciously, to leave. When the environment becomes hostile, when they are constantly scolded, ignored, or even mistreated, they understand they are no longer welcome. And then, one day, they simply don't come back. It's hard to say, but it needs to be said. The home environment should be a place of safety and comfort for the cat. When that doesn't happen and the cat faces a routine of harsh punishments, lack of attention, or even aggression, they begin to associate the home with danger and suffering. This perception can be devastating for an animal that relies on the home for its well-being. Also, neglect, which can show itself in the lack of basic care like proper feeding, clean water, hygiene, and veterinary attention, contributes to the cat losing the bond with their owner. Without this bond, the cat may feel emotionally abandoned, which increases the risk of permanent escape. Another point is that many owners don't realize that certain behaviors, like frequent yelling, physical punishments, or excessive restrictions, create an atmosphere of fear and insecurity. This not only harms the cat's mental health, but can also lead them to seek refuge elsewhere, where they feel safer. That's why it's essential for owners to reflect on the quality of the environment they provide for their cat, always remembering that responsibility and love go hand in hand. Ensuring the home is a space of peace and warmth is the best way to prevent your furry friend from getting lost forever. So, if you love your cat, take good care of their environment, watch for the signs, and offer affection, safety, and stimulation. They don't ask for much, but they need a home that respects them as individuals and, yes, sometimes a cat's Escape is a direct reflection of how they were treated inside the house. Now tell me, has any of these reasons happened to you? Has your cat ever tried to run away or actually disappeared for a few days? Comment down below because I read every comment and would love to hear your story, and if you can, share it with others too. This could help a lot of people avoid this kind of situation. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with that friend who has a cat at home, because information saves lives, and prevention is always better than running desperately around the neighborhood with a flashlight in hand. Thanks for staying until the end, and see you in the next video. Your cat thanks you.